Okay, now look, these How'd I Fix episodes have done pretty well for themselves. You all seem to like them, I find them to be a good creative challenge, etc. As you know, the whole shtick was inspired in part by the subgenre of fantasy booking videos that are popular right now in professional wrestling fandom. A sidebar, YouTube, the way you've been screwing over the people who do wrestling content on here is some major bullshit. Knock it off. And while fantasy booking videos are typically imagining hypothetical future or near future angles, they are also those who look back and imagine how they, given the power to do so, would have booked an angle from earlier in wrestling history better. So I figured why not try my hand at that kind of if I'd been in charge way back when thing too. So without further tacky build-up, I'm Bob, and this is how I would have fixed the introduction of Spider-Man to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Alright, just to be clear, thus far, I am perfectly okay with the actual way the official Spider-Man got introduced to the MCU in Civil War. He was the star of an awesome action scene, his first shot with the shield is instantly iconic, Tom Holland seems to be a good pick for the part, it made sense in context. I'm not crazy about the suit. I mean, it's fine. I don't like all the high-tech Iron Man type business it supposedly does. I don't think that really fits Spider-Man, but it's a minor thing, and after all, the best Spider-Man costume was in Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that's the worst Spider-Man movie, so yeah. I also like that they're leaning hard into him being so much younger than all the other Marvel Universe heroes to this point. That's a good decision. Those are basically good decisions. Now, I'm also recording this, roughly less than a week from when I'm scheduled to see a press screening of SpiderMan Homecoming. I hope it's good, it looks good, it's weird, but I'm honestly really excited that it seems to be completely disinterested and pandering to guys my age who see themselves in Peter Parker demographic, like they're really putting their foot down on, look, this is aimed at kids who are this actual age, it's the millennial Spider-Man, he's from now, deal with it, all of that. I like that. I like that the supporting cast is diverse as hell, Michael Keaton looks like a lot of fun, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, this is not about I don't like the MCU Spider-Man, this is just a fun thought experiment about what I'd have done if I'd been in charge of setting this all in motion. Of course, if I'd been in charge of setting this all in motion, this whole thing probably would have been a disaster that never got past Iron Man 2, but perspective. See, because when you think about it, Marvel had a real challenge with the whole Civil War Spider-Man thing. It's not just plugging him into an action scene, it's working out how he fits into the world, it's figuring out whether you're going to do the origin again, it's making him familiar but also refreshing, and it's the first time they've had to reinvent a character that people actually liked beforehand. Yes, there'd been Captain America and Hulk movies before Marvel did them, but they weren't very well liked. Whereas even though the widely hated Amazing movies were more recent, any Spider-Man movie is still going to have the specter of two of the best superhero movies ever made casting a shadow over it. And if you don't think that was a big deal, please keep in mind that Warner Brothers has spent almost 40 years trying and failing to make Superman happen without Christopher Reeve. So, if I'm the guy in charge of this, the first thing I do is basically the same thing they did in reality in terms of the structure and plot. He gets a small part in Civil War, he's really only showing up for the airport fight, Iron Man still goes and recruits him because he needs the extra muscle. All of that was the right call, not changing any of that. What I do change is the actor, the character, and the circumstances. So in this version, instead of going to New York and dropping in on Peter Parker, who is a bewildered teenager played by Tom Holland, Tony Stark goes to also New York, you really can't change that, and meets up with a Peter Parker who is a high school science teacher played in his mid-30s by Tobey Maguire. And yes, he is playing the same Peter Parker that was last seen in Spider-Man 3. We are retroactively declaring the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies to have always been officially part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe canon. That would be the basis of my big play in this, had it been up to me. Back a dump truck full of Disney's money up to Tobey Maguire's house and say, Tobey, Mr. Maguire, we need you to do this one more time. Why? Well, couple of reasons. I think it'd have been cool, that's the main thing. I like the idea of establishing with a single scene that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is actually about a decade older than we thought it was. And you know the guys who get really, really deep into the continuity stuff will love parsing out what it all means, even though really when you think about it, it all fits because the Raimi movies were all pretty intimate, personal narratives revolving around a handful of characters, and the action never really spilled out or had consequences beyond New York. More substantively, I feel like it dramatically decreases the reboot fatigue issue, i.e. you're no longer inviting the criticism of, we're starting Spider-Man over again, because you're not. You're bringing back the one that already existed. And it sends a strong message to the audience and the fans and really the whole world sphere of people who are invested in this, that you're acknowledging what a horrible, horrible mistake killing this series and doing the Amazing reboots were. It's like it would have been the superhero movie equivalent of Steve Jobs coming back to Apple. Oh, and of course, you'd be giving people the possibility of seeing J.K. Simmons again, and Rosemary Harris, and Kirsten Dunst maybe, and when Tony and Peter are talking about Spider-Man needing to come back, you poignantly cut off to Toby glancing at the framed photo of Cliff Robertson, and that would have been something else, right? Yeah. Anyway, since this is now a totally different contextual scene from the one we got in Civil War, it now needs to serve a different purpose. And what else could you possibly do here other than answer the million-dollar question? Where have you been? Where did Spider-Man go? And we find out he's semi-retired, and it all goes back to the Battle of New York in the first Avengers movie. Because you have to address that, right? Where was the New York superhero during the invasion of New York City? And we find out that Spider-Man was there, he just never got close to where the Avengers were fighting. And, you can do some clever editing stuff to put him into remixed scenes from that movie, because that'll be fun. You see, he was trying to, and he was helping out, but he kept getting waylaid and otherwise occupied fighting Chitauri stragglers, helping save people, and thwart some of that collateral damage. Finally address the whole thousands of people probably still died that day thing. In any case, we find out that he was basically about to get completely murdered by a bunch of Chitauri when they all died after the ships blew up. So basically, Spider-Man, Peter, has been moping and dealing with superhero inadequacy at having proved, compared to the Avengers, kind of ineffective that day. And of course, he's resentful that ever since the Avengers, nobody talks about Spider-Man anymore, since this is Peter Parker and he is ruled by his inadequacies. Plus, he's getting older, he likes teaching, he's married now, and she's happy to not have him almost getting killed. Aunt May isn't getting any younger, and he's taking care of her. But power, responsibility, Uncle Ben, he agrees to put the suit back on. As for the big fight scene, I don't think you really need to change a thing. Just swap out all the who is this guy stuff for holy shit it's Spider-Man stuff and just keep all of that. Oh, also Bruce Campbell should be there somewhere, even if he's just like a fleeing airport security guy or something. You gotta keep that tradition afloat. But beyond that, yeah, he's still just there for the airport. He doesn't need to follow Captain America and Iron Man and Black Panther to Siberia for some reason. We've seen him, we know he's there, everyone's happy, you can proceed on ahead to the pretty cool downer ending that the movie had. So the rest of Civil War plays out as happened, and finally, post-credit scene time, because you gotta set up the solo Spider-Man movie. That's the whole point of the cameo. So instead of Peter just going home, we fade in on Peter Parker being shown around the Stark Tower, having a drink, thanks for your help, talking about the future, specifically whether or not Peter might want to upgrade his whole situation. Yes, sure, maybe becoming a consultant for a certain major technology science company, but also maybe other things. Tony Stark hits a button, and a wall spins around, and he shows Peter the Iron Spider armor. Yeah. Because yes, I do in fact have some wistful imaginings about what might have been if the subsequent solo stuff had also been left in my hands. And since you've all been good, we'll do that one next time. Hey gang, here's a question that keeps coming up. If your handle is MovieBob, where are your movie reviews? Well, my old reviews are in a lot of places. You'll find many of them on my YouTube channel, but you'll find the brand new ones on Geek.com, an awesome site that's also your one-stop news source for science, TV, gaming, technology, nerd culture, the works. You can find all my reviews directly by going to geek.com/author/bchipman, because that's my real name, and you can get regular updates on all my reviews and all of Geek.com's other great content by signing up for their kick-ass newsletter at subscribe.geek.com. And don't forget to also subscribe to the Geek.com YouTube channel, where you'll find the videos that accompany my reviews and tons of other great content too. Remember, that's Geek.com, the Geek.com newsletter, and Geek.com on YouTube. Make sure you don't miss out on all the latest MovieBob reviews. You can also check out my own new website, MovieBob Central, where you'll find my blog, links to all my work, and shop for my books, ebooks, and future MovieBob products. And please remember to like these videos, share them with all of your friends, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching another MovieBob production.